In the dealing room today, a prehistoric treasure.
The item today is 200 million years old.
A rare flag from an early moon landing. And tribal masks close to the owner's heart.
It's like goodbye.
5 top international dealers with personal fortunes to spend. Sellers, anyone from anywhere in the world, can bring their items to be assessed.
These are rocks from outer space.
Wow.
They're approximately 10,000 years old.
That's just fantastic.
The dealers use their wealth of knowledge and expertise to unlock the history and value of these treasures.
I think it's decorative, interesting, tremendous history.
Picasso was not actually sitting there with the loom, with the silk screens, hand pulling them, which would have put this in a very different value structure.
And if they like what they see, they'll fight to buy.
This is no gameplay.
1,800, final offer.
£24,000.
30,000?
£200,000.
Sorry, how much?
You jumped in. I
didn't
don't
sit
think
down
you're a
and
nice
get back
person.
up.
I really don't.
Each dealer is an expert in key artifacts and markets. Brit Richard Gauntlett, global art, antiques and motorcar dealer.
In this business, the greatest weapon is knowledge, and I've studied hard.
New Yorker Gillian Anderson Price, art deco and antiques for the Western market.
I have a fantastic client list of international celebrities who trust me to buy them the most desirable vintage treasures.
London pawnbroker Nik Robinson, specialist in Russian diamonds.
My clients in Russia and Eastern Europe expect the best goods at the right prices.
Hong Kong-based Jenny Pat turns over multi-million-pound fine art deals across Asia.
I only deal in items which are top-end for top profit.
Miami mogul Scott Diament owns jewellery stores and runs America's most prestigious antiques fairs.
I trade all over the world, art, antiques, jewelry, to the tune of millions of pounds a year. When I see something I like, I go for it.
These are the dealers. The dealers have no idea which sellers they're about to meet and no opportunity to research their items. First into the dealing room with a unique chance to meet the 5 international dealers are friends, Andy and Martin from Cheshire, UK.
I am sad to see this go from my house. We've both put a lot of time in this. It has been a labour of love, really, hasn't it, Martin?
Yeah, and a passion.
Hello.
We're here today to offer you this wonderful 200-million-year-old plesiosaur skeleton, which was found on the world-famous Jurassic coastline of Lyme Regis. When you've had so much time into a specimen like this, you're always sad to see it go. It's a part of you, and it does go with you.
Hi, I'm Scott.
Hiya, Scott.
I'm from the United States. I have a lot of clients worldwide for fossils.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about this particular creature?
This particular creature, it was a fast-moving marine reptile, lived on fish and squids.
When I saw the plesiosaur fossil, I was pretty impressed. What an incredible, what looked to be very complete specimen of a 200-million-year-old extinct creature.
Hi, I'm Nick. Is it complete?
It's 60% genuine and 40% sympathetically restored by myself.
From my understanding, I think 60% is pretty impressive.
It is, yes.
When I saw the plesiosaur fossil, I was delighted. I've always wanted a complete water reptile fossil.
The value of fossils, in part, depends on how much of the skeleton remains intact. In 2005, a 70% complete plesiosaur skeleton sold at auction for £30,000.
Shall we take a look at this fossil?
Yeah.
Could you tell us how many hours were that you've spent on this piece?
It's on and off over 18 months. Sometimes I've worked through the night. If I get inspired to work 2 or 3 days on it, then that's what I've done. The vast majority of this was actually done in my dining room. That has to go. It's too big for my dining room.
Andy bought the fossil in 1994 from a museum and, unknown to the dealers, paid £19,000. He's single-handedly restored it.
Are you a paleontologist?
Paleontological preparator.
Did you say that fast and 3 times?
Paleontological preparator.
Where did you go to university to learn about paleontology?
I haven't.
So you actually didn't go to school to learn about it, or how to prepare it, or how to put it together?
No, I was too busy going out fossil collecting.
Got it.
Hi, I'm Richard. I've dealt in a number of important fossils. I've never bought a fossil from a self-taught preparator.
Can I just say something about Andy? Andy is a world-renowned fossil preparator, and he's probably one of the finest preppers of fossils.
Plesiosaurs grew up to 20 metres, and at just 2.5 metres, it's remarkable that this relatively small reptile has remained so intact. But that's not enough to tempt all the dealers.
Hi, I'm Gillian. I'm quite intrigued as to why you haven't made it 3-dimensional.
The way the skeleton lies is as it was discovered. So this is how the creature would have died on the seafloor.
I don't like the mounting at all.
Right, OK, yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just doesn't do it for me, basically.
Yeah. OK.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make you an offer today.
OK.
But thank you very much.
2 dealers are not interested and sit down. Bad news for Andy and Martin, but 3 still remain.
I love the way it was mounted. I think in situ is the best way to do it.
I have to say, I do like the way it's been mounted.
Right.
Looks very haphazard.
That's basically how it, when it died, it formed to the surface.
Yeah, that's why I like it. That's why I really like it. I am a paintings dealer. I love everything that is 2D, that can be hung on a wall. I was seeing it as a painting.
There's a fundamental problem with museum-quality things. They tend to be in museums.
Yes.
So it's very difficult to put a price. I'm struggling. I'm going to stand here for a minute, just think about it.
I have a lot of clients for fossils. I'll sit here and think a little bit longer on my offer.
Thank you.
Someone needs to make a move, and it's Jenny who decides to make a shock bid.
Would you like to hear an offer from me? I'll offer you...
And Scott and Gillian go head-to-head on a diamond deal.
You didn't give me a chance before you shook his hand and guilt-tripped him.
Anyone from anywhere in the world can try their luck to sell anything in the dealing room. Fossil lovers Andy and Martin are offering a 200-million-year-old plesiosaur for sale, which they've restored over 18 months, but which is too big for Andy's dining room.
I am sad to see this go. It has been a labour of love, really, hasn't it, Martin?
Passion.
Of the 5 international dealers, Jenny, Scott and Richard remain.
I'd like to make you an opening bid.
£10,000. No, that doesn't cover our initial investment.
Would you like to hear an offer from me? I'll offer you 30,000 pounds. I think that's more than enough.
Jenny's £30,000 bid wows the room.
When Jenny put an offer of £30,000, I was surprised that she'd gone straight in with what was a very strong offer for the piece. Yeah, that's made my life really easy. Yeah, I think I wouldn't be comfortable at more than that. But thank you very much for bringing it in.
Thank you.
Great
Thank
item.
you.
Thank you.
When Jenny made a £30,000 bid, what I would consider out of nowhere, she basically made it where none of the other dealers would even possibly consider making a higher bid. £30,000 is a very strong offer.
Yeah.
And I would suggest you take it.
Good. I'd like to accept your offer then, please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
When I really want to buy something, I calculate in my head what price would definitely get me that piece. I don't want a bidding war against other people that would slowly push the price up to a point where I have to pay more and not get it in the end.
We thought that went very successful for us.
I'm very excited about my fossil.
Jenny is in a position where she lives in Hong Kong, which is the gateway to the Chinese market, Singapore, Japanese markets.
It's a very buoyant market in the Far East at the moment, and they know their fossils.
Imagine this as a huge painting.
Actually, can you imagine that with a huge frame around it? Would look pretty
It's
amazing.
gonna look great in a living room.
The house will feel very empty when I go back. But I've got my dining room back. I'm at £30,000.
Yeah.
We're very, very happy. Absolutely over the moon.
Very happy, yes.
Motoring his way into the dealing room is Dennis from Surrey, UK, with his fully restored 1927 Harley Davidson, complete with her rare left-handed sidecar.
I bought this for my 50th birthday. My wife thinks I'm going through the midlife crisis, and she's probably right. I'm selling my item today to help my son buy his first house.
How long has it been in your possession?
I bought it in April.
You haven't owned it very long.
No.
I understand it was your 50th birthday and it was a midlife crisis impulse purchase.
Yes.
But you're not even 51 yet.
Correct.
So you haven't had much enjoyment out of it.
I have had enjoyment out of it.
The Harley-Davidson Company was formed in 1903 by Bill Harley and Arthur Walter Davidson, but it wasn't until the V-twin engine was used by police and military in World War I that the brand gained worldwide recognition.
Were these used as police?
Yes, they were. It was the fastest. It was the fastest. It was capable of doing approximately 85 miles an hour back in 1927.
That must have been incredibly fast.
Yeah.
Motorcycle expert Richard inspects the restoration job.
If you look at the way the front mudguard waves along, and it's all a little bit rough and ready.
Okay, yes,
When they left the factory,
Yes,
that is how
okay,
they were.
I can
If
see
this was
that.
over-restored, they'd have made all those lines dead straight. They would have replaced loads of parts, and they haven't. What they've done is they've saved the original parts as much as possible.
I would love to sit in one of these.
That particular motorcycle had been exquisitely restored.
Hey, honey, where shall we go?
To the country.
If you are going to buy something, then buy the best. So he really had bought the best.
Dennis won't reveal what he paid.
I am interested in this bike, so I'm going to make you an opening offer of £8,500.
I thought Dick Turpin wore a mask, but I have a figure in my mind, but unfortunately that's not it.
Could you tell me what the figure is in your mind?
£30,000. And that would mean I would be selling it at a loss.
Buying the motorcycle at top price has backfired as 4 dealers sit down. Only Richard remains.
Would you accept an offer of £25,000 here today?
I wouldn't know.
Don't go and buy at a full retail price and try and sell it 6 months later. If you buy the best, hold on to it, love it, enjoy it, and then your investment will be safe. But it's not going to be safe instantaneously. I'm not going to be able to make you an offer that's going to make you happy or make you even sell it.
Nice to meet you all. Thank you.
He wouldn't tell the dealers, but what did Dennis pay for the motorcycle?
I purchased it for £45,000. I believe I can get my money back, or the best way would be to make a small profit.
Looks like his passion took over from his pocket.
Well, he bought it for himself for his 50th birthday and he's had a lot of fun with it. I think it's a great present. Why not?
The dealers have no idea what's coming next. They rely on their knowledge and expertise as they make their bids. Next into the dealing room is Peter from Cornwall, UK.
I'm bringing along today a family heirloom which has been passed down to my wife. It belonged to my mother and it was a present from my father. When you see this item, I think it will be a showstopper. Hello there. I'm presenting to you today a diamond and gold watch.
Peter's cocktail watch was bought by his father in 1954 during the post-war boom in high street jewellery chains.
I really liked the diamond cocktail watch. It was stylish. It had that real kind of 50s feel about it.
Got some good-sized stones in here.
I know, yeah. You can see my mother there wearing the watch, actually.
The watch has sentimental value for Peter, but jewellery expert Scott has some home truths to deliver.
Watches like that were produced in tremendous quantity, maybe in the millions. And so in most cases, a watch like that will be broken up. It's actually taken apart for what the small diamonds are worth and what the gold's worth. The piece of jewelry aspect of that watch was what was most important to me. It had over 5 carats of diamonds. It had a substantial amount of white gold.
Peter's watch has 108 diamonds in total, set in 18-carat white gold.
I would like to make an offer, and I'm going to bid based on its component parts. So I'm going to make you a bid of £1,500 on the watch.
I don't think my wife will accept that, actually.
What is the lowest figure that your wife sent you here today to accept from us?
We were looking towards maybe 3,000.
Unwilling to go to the asking price, Richard and Jenny sit down. Like Scott, Russian diamond expert Nik is thinking of its scrap value.
I'm going to make you an offer of $1,750.
To be fair, I do think it's worth a little more than that.
Vintage jewellery dealer Gillian sees more than just the gemstones.
I will absolutely promise you it will not be broken up and it will go to a good home.
That watch was absolutely not a candidate for being broken up. It was stylish, it was pretty, it was just lovely.
My offer will be $1,800.
Well, I'll have to think about that one.
Sure.
Peter, £1,800. It's a very good offer. And thank you for bringing it in, but I'm going to sit down.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Peter, I'm prepared to better Gillian's offer. I'll offer you £1,850 for the watch.
I tell you what I'll do. I'll match his offer. And you can be secure in the knowledge that I will ensure that it goes to a nice home.
Gillian's strategy was to play on the emotions of the seller. It had belonged to his mother, and she had hoped that that would win it for her.
Well, the fact that you will ensure that it will go to a nice home, and
There's no real way to ensure they'll go to a nice home.
Well, no, but...
I'm a nice person. I deal with nice people.
I'll pay £1,860 then.
Well, I'm torn between the devil and the deep blue sea, really. We're talking about £10, aren't we, now? I do like the idea that the watch would not be broken up.
1,875 pounds.
You know, I'm buying it because I love the whole history, and I know my clients will be as enchanted by it as I am.
1,900 pounds. To test the emotional value to the seller of selling to Gillian, I started at 1,860. Then I went to 1,875. Then I went to 1,900 pounds.
I can't go any further than 1,850.
Well, my heart says with you, my head says with him. So I think £1,900 seems to be the fairest price that
We have a deal. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll match his offer.
It's already sold. And we shook on it.
Whoa. I think that Scott knew that most people are honourable enough that they know once they've shaken someone's hand, it's very difficult to take that back and start again.
I have shaken your hand, so it's yours.
Thank you, Peter.
All right?
Yes.
I
No,
did shake his hand.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Scott really annoyed me by jumping in at the last second and shaking the gentleman's hand. And a gentleman he was, because as soon as he shook that hand, he knew he'd made a deal.
Thank you, Peter.
Thanking you very much indeed.
Peter leaves the dealing room with £1,900.
My heart was leaning towards Gillian, but I've shaken hands, and if you shake hands with somebody, that's it.
I don't think that was very nice what you did. I really don't.
I paid him more money.
No, I...
Which part of paying him more money wasn't nice?
No, you didn't. You didn't pay him more money. I equaled your offer. I'm sorry. I don't think you're a nice person. I really don't. I think that was really unpleasant what you did.
I have every right to bid on the item, and I
That's
paid
not what
more.
I'm not talking about the bidding. I'm talking about the fact that you didn't give me a chance before you shook his hand and guilt-tripped him.
He's a good businessman, isn't he?
I guess it was a good strategy.
I think it's disgusting.
It seems to me to be a sore loser if at the end of the bidding process that your strategy doesn't work, to take it out on me.
Something seems to be going on between Gillian and Scott, and it's beginning to get quite interesting.
Emotions continue to run high over a beautiful collection of African masks.
Use like goodbye.
And an American flag from an early moon landing aggravates Richard.
That really, really irritates me.
In the dealing room, there's a unique opportunity for sellers from all over the world to meet 5 international dealers. Next to try his luck is an avid collector from Hampshire, UK, with an artifact from outer space.
My name's Joe. Owning this item's been fascinating. It's a very special thing that's very rarely seen for sale. I'm ready to negotiate and I'm ready to sell. Today, I'm offering you an American flag that's been flown to the surface of the moon and returned to Earth. This happened on Apollo 14 in February 1971, where astronaut Edgar Mitchell took this flag with him during the mission and then returned it to Earth.
Anywhere in the United States, an American flag that went to the moon is a very valuable item. We definitely have collectors, top buyers.
This photograph is a panorama from the mission. That's Edgar Mitchell during the moonwalk.
Edgar Mitchell was part of the Apollo 14 mission. He spent 9 hours on the lunar surface, making him number 6 of only 12 men to walk on the moon.
It may be a bit difficult to read, but he's signed that it's been to the surface of the moon.
It says, this USA flag flown to the lunar surface on board Antares.
Which is the name of the spacecraft.
February 1971. The fact that it was a United States flag does make it a very wide market. It's a very iconic image, and obviously there are many Americans, lots of great collectors over there.
With all the dealers interested, Joe hopes to impress them further.
The other thing about the flag, which is quite interesting, you may see that there are a few discolorations on it. Well, that's moon dust.
So he took it out, rubbed it around in the moon dust?
No, he didn't do that. I did it, a friend of mine did it afterwards, who purchased a lunar artifact from him that had actually been used on the surface as part of the mission.
So it's had another artifact has been rubbed against this one.
Exactly.
To acquire the moon dust.
The one thing I really hate is someone has taken an artifact which is, by its very nature, really interesting, and they've tried to embellish it by rubbing another artifact against it. And that really, really irritates me.
I can see where you're coming from.
He had rubbed it with moon dust from another artifact, which, when you've got something great, you don't need to do anything to it. It almost feels dishonest. It just feels like you're trying too hard.
The dealers suspect that Edgar Mitchell may have taken the flag on board Antares with a view to selling it on to fans later, as apparently it wasn't used during the mission.
I always have problems with things that are sort of made to be collectible.
If it was his pen that he took that was part of his spacesuit, which he actually used.
Right, he used, and it's all worn, and it's like ratty, and it was up there, and it was never meant to be a collectible item, and ended up being one.
It feels premeditated, and that's how it would feel certainly to my customers, I think.
A flag from astronaut Mitchell's collection that was actually flown on the moon's surface, sold in 2008 for over £16,000 at auction. Joe won't reveal what he paid.
What sort of figure do you have in your mind that you would accept for it?
Well, I would like to hear some offers.
But I mean, you must have a
Okay, I'll give
figure.
you £50 for it.
No.
Perhaps £200?
No. I'm looking in thousands.
When you say you're talking about thousands, you're talking about sort of £2,000 upwards, £5,000 upwards?
20,000.
£20,000 upwards. Okay. I'm going to sit down.
Thank you very much.
I'm gonna have to sit down.
Thank you.
Joe's starting price has had a disastrous effect. Only Richard is left standing.
The figure that keeps popping into my mind is £3,000.
That wouldn't buy it. If you increased your offer, I would consider it.
It's £4,000.
I think it's worth more.
£5,000, and I think that's a really good offer.
I think you're too far away from what I would take as a minimum.
Do you want to try me?
You make a higher offer and I'll tell you what I accept.
I've moved from £0 to £5,000. You've moved to nowhere.
12,000.
I'm now out of my comfort zone. Thank you very much for bringing it in.
Thank you.
He may get £12,000, but it probably won't be in my lifetime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Was quite a negative, was the saying, well, these guys were taking things up there to sell. Well, you could say that about every piece of art. Every artist, David Hirst, is churning out things to sell. Does that make them less valuable or less interesting?
Interesting.
Very interesting. Just a bit, it's over-contrived.
It's trying to add value to it.
The thing is, if you know what it's like, when you have that big customer, it may not be dishonest, but it smacks of dishonesty.
Not a collectible that's an accident that became a collectible, it's something that was purposely taken to become a collectible.